Hello, I am Harish, your instructor for this Python crash course. In this Python crash course, I'm going to discuss about the key components of Python programming language. What are they? First, we have a variables, then we have a data types. In data types, we have a integer, float, string, complex, Boolean, list, set, tuple, and dictionary. Not only that, I'm also going to discuss about if and if else statement. Then we have a loops. In loops, we have for loop and while loop. Not only that, I'm also going to discuss about strings. And finally, I'm going to end up this crash course with functions. Without wasting any of your time, let's get into the topic. First, we have a variables. Before get into the topic of variables, I like to discuss about how our Python programming language is most popular and most learned used programming language in recent years because of its simple syntax, and it is a flexibility programming language. What is flexibility programming language? We can use a Python programming language for web development, game development, artificial intelligence, automation, and cyber security. Let's get into the topic. First, we have a variable. Now, what I want is I want to print my age in my output console. I want to print my age in my output console, and my age is 27. So that within my interpreter, I wrote 27. Now, what I want is I want to print this 27 in my output console. We can't directly access. So that what I'm going to do is to access this value, I am going to assign this value to age variable. I'm going to assign this 27 value to my age variable. Using the age variable, we can able to access this value. Let's write the code. I am assigning this 27 value to age variable. Now, using this age variable, we can able to access this 27 value. We can able to print this 27 value using this age variable. This is the role of variable. Now, within a print function, I'm going to print the variable age. Before executing this code, let's trace this code. First, our interpreter execute our program line by line. Our Python interpreter execute the program line by line. While executing the first line of our program, first my Python interpreter execute the right side of assignment operator. This equal to is known as assignment operator. First, my Python interpreter execute the right side of my assignment operator. First, it execute the 27, and for a 27 value, I assign the age variable. For age variable, I assign the 27 value. Within a print function, I printed the age variable value, so that when I execute my program, after execute my program, that 27 value will print in my output console. Let's execute this program. If you see in the output console, the 27 got printed. Within a print function. Whatever we give, if we give a variable, then the variable value will print. If we give any message within a double quotes, then the message will print. Now, I'm going to write one more print function. I'm going to use one more print function. While giving a message, we need to give the message within a double quotes or single quotes. Now, I'm going to give a message within a double quotes. Whatever we give within a print function, if we give age variable, if we give any variable within a print function, then the value of a variable will print in our output console. If we give any message within a print function, then the message will print. Let's execute this code. If you see, the message got printed 27 and welcome to Python course. Message got printed. Hope I am clear. Now we will have some idea about what is a print function. If we give any variable or any message within a print function, then the value or message will print in our output console. Hope I am clear. Now let's get into the topic variable. Now let's understand how this variable execution in the backend. Let's understand how our value stored in our RAM. As of now, I'm going to clear this output console. The command is clear, clear or cls. I'm going to remove this and let's execute. When I execute my program, my Python interpreter get activate and allocate some memory space in my RAM. Consider this box as my RAM. Around my RAM have 8 GB of RAM space. While executing this program, in another side, I am using this application. Already this 4 application, Chrome, Netflix, YouTube, and the Learn to Code website already occupied around 4 GB of RAM space. We have a remainder 4 GB of RAM space. When I execute my Python program, my Python interpreter get activate and allocate some memory space in my RAM. This is the allocated space. In the allocated spaces, we have a 3 segment. Actually, we have a 4 segment. As of now, keep this in mind. While execute my program, my Python interpreter allocate some memory space in my RAM segment. In the allocated space, we have a 3 segment. First, we have a code segment, then we have a stack segment, then we have a heap segment. Let's understand one by one. First, we have a code segment. Whatever the code we wrote in our interpreter, whatever the code we wrote in the interpreter, the code will store in our code segment. And the code will stored in a binary format, in a zeros and one format. Hope I am clear. We all know that our computer understand only the zeros and ones. This our program will store in the code segment in the binary format. Hope I am clear. Next, I already said that our Python interpreter execute our program line by line. While executing the first line, first our Python interpreter execute the right side of assignment operator. Execute the right side of assignment operator. While executing the right side of assignment operator, my Python interpreter first task is to store that 12 value in my RAM segment. That 12 value will stored in the heap segment. While storing the value, my Python interpreter allocates some specific space in the heap segment. Then the 12 value will stored in the heap segment. Not only that, also my Python interpreter allocate some random address for my value. Then once the right side of assignment operator executed, then my Python interpreter execute the left side of my assignment operator. In the left side of assignment operator, we have a variable. The a variable will stored in the stack segment. While storing the a variable in the stack segment, my Python interpreter allocate some memory space in the stack segment. Within allocated space, the a variable will store. If you see, while executing the a variable, my Python interpreter allocate some specific space in the stack segment. Then the a variable will store in the specific allocated space with address. If you see, this is a random address. Your Python interpreter allocates some random address. To show you an example, I use a 101 as my address. This is an imagination address, but actually your Python interpreter allocates some random address. Based on the address, the a variable points to the value. If you see, the address of a variable is 101 and the value of the 12 value of address is 101. Based on the address, the a variable value points to the value. Hope I am clear. This is how our program execution happen in the backend. This is how our values and variables are storing in the backend. Hope I am clear. First, let's understand the basic data types. In basic data type, we have a numbers data type. In technically, we say the numbers data type as an integer data type, and the extension of integer data type is int. Then we have a float, then we have a real number. Technically, we say the real number as a float. The point value are a float data type, and the extension of a float data type is a float. Then we have a characters data type. The characters data type known as a string. Technically, we say character data type as a string data type. The extension of a string data type is str, and then we have a yes or no data type. The yes or no data type or a Boolean data type. Technically, we say Boolean data type, and the extension of Boolean data type is bool. This Boolean data type written as a true or false. If we give any condition, then it will return a true or false. Hope I am clear. Let's write the code. First, we have a integer data type. The numbers value like 10,000, 10 lakh, 10 crore, this all the numbers data type, and the numbers data type or integer data type. Then the extension of integer data type is int. Let's write the code for a numbers data type. This is the numbers data type. This is numbers data type. We already know. Just there's a lag. Okay, now it's fine. We already know that how our program execution happen in the backend, how our values are stored in the RAM. This is how our values stored in the RAM. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 10,000 as my value. 10,000 as my value. And one more thing. There is a function. There is a pre-built function called ID. Using this ID function, we can able to print the address of variable. Now, I'm going to print the address of a variable. Let's execute. If you see, I already said that while storing our value and variable, my Python interpreter assigns some random address. If you see, this is the address for my a variable. This is my address for my a variable 880. Hope I am clear. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more variable called b, and I'm going to assign 10 as my value. And also, I'm going to print the address of b variable. If you see, both address got printed. First, using the id function, this is a pre-built function. Using this a pre-built function, I printed the address of a variable and I printed the address of b variable. The address of a variable is 880 and the address of b variable is 816. Hope I am clear. This is the address your Python interpreter allocate to your variable. Next, we have a float data type. Whatever the point value, for example, 1000.1, 10,000.20, this or the pointer value, this are the real number value. The real number value are known as float value, float data type. Let's write the code. And there is a one more function called type. There is a one more pre-built function called type. Using the pre-built function type, we can able to print the data type of variable. For example, as of now, I'm going to remove this b variable. Using the print function, I'm going to print the type of a variable. If you see, the extension got printed. We all know that this is a number value, and the number value technically known as integer data type, and the extension of integer data type is int. When I print the type of a variable using the type function, type pre-built function, that type, the data type got printed as a int. Hope I am clear. And if you came from a Java background, in a Java programming language, we manually mention what data type we are going to use. But in Python, our Python interpreter automatically detects the data type based on our given value. Based on our given value, our Python interpreter automatically detects what data type we used. Hope I am clear. But if you take a Java programming language, we manually to mention what data type we are going to use. Next, I'm going to give float value. Let's execute now. And if you see, the address of my float value is 352, and when I print the type of a variable, the type got printed as a float. Hope I'm clear. Next we have a string. While writing a string, while giving a string value to a variable, while assigning a string value to a variable, we need to give the string value within a double quotes or single quotes or within a triple quotes. Let's write the code. First, I'm going to use a single quotes. Within a single quotes, I'm giving string value. Within a single quotes. If you see the type str got printed. Why? Because it is a string value. Harish is a string value, and I wrote the string value. I give the string value within a single quotes. The extension of a string data type is str, so that the str got printed. And if you see, the Harish got printed. Now I'm going to give my message. I'm going to give my string value within a double quotes. If you see, we got a same output. Next, I'm going to give my string value within a triple quotes. While giving a string value within a triple quotes, we can give multiple line string values. For example, we can give now within a triple quotes, we can able to give multi-line string value. If you see, this is a multi-line string value. This is my first line string value. This is my second line string value. While if you need to give a multi-line string value, then you can use this triple quotes. Let's execute this program. If you see, I got same output. Please give your feedback and the address, then the data type. Next, we have complex. Actually, in the introduction, I didn't introduce this complex. Anyways, hope you will have some idea about what is a complex values. I think in your 9th grade or 10th grade, you will have a complex number program in your math. Let's write the code. I'm going to give this complex value 4 plus 9j. 4 plus 9j. This is my complex number. Let's execute this. And if you see, we got an output. I assigned 4 plus 9j value to my a variable, and the value got printed. The complex value got printed, and the type complex got printed. Hope I'm clear. Next, we have a Boolean. this boolean will return me a true or false. If we give any condition, it will return me a true or false based on the condition. Now, as of now, I'm going to give true as my value. Later we will write while if condition. Later we will deep dive into this boolean data type while discussing about if conditions. As of now, I'm going to give true as my value. Let's execute. And if you see, the data type got printed as a bool. The data type got printed as a bool, and the true got printed. Next, we have an advanced data type. Before saying advanced data type, I have a scenario. And my scenario is, just a minute. And my scenario is, I want to store this 5 students mark. I want to store this 5 students mark, and I want to print the 5 students mark in my output console. How you will write this code? Please pause this video and write your own code. What I want is, my scenario is, I want to store this 5 students mark, and I want to print this 5 students mark in my output console. And these are the marks. Let's write the code and try yourself, pause this video and try yourself to write this code. And now I'm going to write the code. Now, first what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a five variables. I'm going to create a 5 variables. Then I'm going to assign the 5 students mark to my 5 variable. Within a print function, I'm going to print the 5 variables, 5 students mark. First, a equal to 10. Within a print function, first what I did here is, first I created a 5 variables. I created a 5 variables called A, B, C, D, E, and I am assigning 5 values, 5 mark values to my 5 variable. Then within a print function, I'm going to print this 5 variable. When I print the variables, when I print the value using a variables, the value will print in my output console. Hope I'm clear. Let's execute this. If you see, I printed the 5 students mark. These are the 5 students mark. Hope I'm clear. If you see in this program, do you think it is an efficient way to write the program? While writing the program, as a programmer, you need to keep these 2 things in your mind. First thing, code efficiency, and second one is a memory efficiency. Do you think this program achieved the code efficiency and memory efficiency? No. And to print the 5 students mark, around we wrote 10 line of codes. What if I have a scenario to print 100 students mark or 500 students mark? At the time, I can't able to write 1000 line of code, right? So that what I'm going to do is, I'm going to reduce this line, and within a single print function, I'm going to print all my 5 variable value. Let's execute now. If you see, we got the same output. Oh, sorry. You see, we got the same output, but still this program is a not memory efficient and not code efficient program. Now, to using this advanced data type, we can able to write this same program within a 2 line. Using a list data type, using a set data type, using a tuple data type, we can able to write this same program within a 2 lines. Let's write the code. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to clear my output console. First, I'm going to discuss about list data type. We can using the list, we can able to assign multiple values. We can assign multiple values to a single variable. We can able to assign 5 values or 10 values or 1000 values to a single variable. First, I'm creating a variable called A. Then I'm assigning my values, my 5 student mark values. And this is not a list. This is not a list. To define this is my list, we need to give this value within a square bracket. We need to give this value within a square bracket. Then only our Python interpreter consider this is my list value. Hope I am clear. This is as of now, this is a normal value and this is a normal variable. To define this is my list, we need to write the value within a square bracket. Hope I am clear. Now, within a print function, I'm going to print the A variable. Let's execute this now. And if you see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 got printed. Now, We already seen the type function. We already know the role of type function. Now what I'm going to do is using the pre-built type function, I'm going to print the data type of my a variable. Let's execute now. If you see, the list got printed, the type got printed as a list. Hope I'm clear. In list we have, let's understand how our list value stored in the backend in our RAM. First, based on the list size, what is my list size? My list size is 5. Based on the list size, my Python interpreter allocate memory space in my heap segment. Based on the list size, my Python interpreter allocate space in my RAM segment. Then based on the position, based on my position, the value will stored in the allocated memory space. Then the a variable will stored in the stack segment. And while in a list, my Python interpreter allocate some index value, and the positive index value start from 0. The positive index value start from 0. And not only that, in a list we have a negative index value, and the negative index value starts from -1, and it starts with right to left. Hope I am clear. What is the role of this index value? Using this index value, we can able to fetch some specific value. We can able to print some specific value using the index value. Not only that, we can able to remove some specific value using the index value. Let's write the code. First, what I want is, first, okay, later we will discuss about how to add or remove. Now, what I want is, I want to add some new value in my existing list. If you see, in my existing list, I have a 5 value. Now, additionally, I want to add 90 value in my existing list. To achieve this, we have a function called append function. Not only that, we also have a extend function. Using this append function and the extend function, we can able to add some new value in my existing value. Okay, clear? Let's write the code first. Now, first I'm using the append function, and now I want to add a 90 as my value in my existing list. Before executing this code, let's test this code. We all know that first our Python interpreter execute our program line by line. While executing the first line, my Python interpreter execute the right side of my assignment operator. Just will be back. First, right side will execute, and the value will stored in my heap segment. Then the variable will stored in the stack segment. Then within a print function, I printed the a variable. What is the current value of a variable? This list value. Then the list value print in my output console in the next line. While executing this append function line, first what I did here is, first a variable, my a variable name. Within a variable list, I need to add a new value, right? So that first I give a variable name, then dot. When I give a dot, my Python interpreter enter into a variable list value. When I give the dot, my Python interpreter, when I give a variable, my Python interpreter redirect to my a variable. When I give the dot, my Python interpreter enters into my a variable value, enters into my a variable list value. Then append function, the role of append function is using this append function, we can able to add some new value within my existing list, and within append function, I give a 90 as my value. Then the 90 value will add at the last position of my existing list. Let's execute this program. Hope I am clear. If you see, oh, after appending, I didn't print the a variable. If you see, the 90 got printed. The 90 value printed at the last position of our list, of our existing list value. Hope I am clear. The 90 value will add at the last position of our existing list value. Then next we have a, just a minute, I'm going to clear this output console. And after adding a new value, the index value will reassign. If you see, the positive, keep this in mind, the positive index value start from 0, and the ending index value start from -1, and it will assign from right side to left. Hope I'm clear. End to start. Next, what I want is, I want to print this 20 value. I want to print this specific 20 value from my list. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to use the index value of 20. What is the index value of 20? 1. So that using this index value 1, I'm going to print this specific 20 value in my output console. Let's write the code. I'm going to remove this append and the print function. within a print function, I'm going to write the code. What will be my first task? My first task is I need to enter into my Python interpreter, enter into a variable list, so that I'm giving a variable name. Then within a square bracket, I need to give the index value. What is the index value of 20? The index value of 20 is 1. Let's execute this code. If you see, the 20 got printed. The 20 got printed. First, what I did here is within a print function. Within a print function, I give my statement, and my statement is a. First, I enter into my a variable list. Then, within a square bracket, I give an index value. Based on the index value, the 20 got printed in my output console. The index value of 20 is 1, so that the 20 got printed. Now, also, we can use a minus index value. We can use a minus index value. What is the index value of 20? Minus 5. Actually, in our list we didn't have a 90, so that the index value of 20 is a minus 4. In this template I added the 90, but in our list, in our current list, we don't have a 90, so that the 20 index value, the 20 negative index value is a minus 4. Now, using a minus 4 index value, I'm going to print that 20. Sorry for the inconvenience. You see the 20 got printed. That just a minute. That 20 got printed. Hope I'm clear. We can able to access some specific value using the positive and negative index value. Next, we have a next. What I want is I want to remove this specific value. I want to remove this specific value. There is a function called a pop. Using the pop function, we can able to remove the specific value using the index value. I want to remove that 20 value, and the index value of 20 is 1. Then after removing the 20 value, I am going to print the a variable. Let's execute now. If you see, in my list, the 20 got removed. What I did here is, first I enter into my Python interpreter, redirect to my a variable dot. When I give the dot, my Python interpreter enter into the list value, and the role of my pop function is, the role of pre-built pop function is, it will remove the specific value based on the index value. What is the index value of 20? The index value of 20 is a 1. So within a pop function, I give an index value as a 1, so that the 20 value removed from my list. Next, I printed the list value. If you see, the list value got printed 10, 30, 40, 50. Hope I'm clear. Okay. After removing my value, after removing some specific value in my list, in my backend, the values will reposition to the empty space. If you see, the first index value, the first index value is empty, so that the 30 value repositioned to my first index, then the 40 will reposition to second index, and the 50 will reposition, and the 90 will reposition. After removing, now what I'm doing is I'm going to print the index value of 1. Let's write the code. In the next line of program, I am going to print the value of index value 1. Hope I am clear. Let's execute now. If you see, now 30 got printed. Why? Because our value, once I remove the value, the rest of the value will reposition to the empty space. And now here I printed the index value of the value of index value 1, and the index value of 1 is 30. Hope I am clear. Next, we have and the index value will reposition based on the size of the current list. Next, duplicate values. Yes, our list allows the duplicate value. Our list support the duplicate value. We can able to store a duplicate value within a list. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 50 as my duplicate value within my list, and I am removing this pop. If you see, within my list, I give a duplicate value, and the duplicate value 50 got printed. The duplicate value 50 got printed. List supports the duplicate value. If you see, in the output we have a 250s. Next, we have and this is known as homogeneous data type. Why we are saying this is as a homogeneous data type? Because if you see, within a list, we use the same data type. 10 is the integer data type, 20 is the integer data type, 30 is the integer, 40 is the integer, 50 is the integer. If we give a same data type values within a list, then it is known as a homogeneous data type. This is known as homogeneous. Then there is a one more thing called heterogeneous. If we give a different data type value within a list, then it is known as a heterogeneous. Hope I'm clear. If you see, first the 10 is an integer, then 99.9 is a float value, then Harish is a string value, true is a Boolean value, and 15 is an integer value. If we give a different data type value within a list, within a set, then it is known as a heterogeneous data type. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give heterogeneous data values, heterogeneous data type values within my list. I'm giving 99.9 as a my float value, and within a double quotes I'm giving Harish as my string value. Then I'm giving true as my Boolean value. Let's execute this. If you see, the heterogeneous data type value got printed. Hope I'm clear. Hope now you have some idea about what is a homogeneous and what is a heterogeneous. Next we have, okay, this is how our heterogeneous data will store in our RAM segment. Okay, yeah. I already said that this is how our value stored in the heap segment, in the RAM segment, but actually not. I am going to reveal some truth. We all know that actually most of the people may not. Python is an object-oriented programming language. What is object-oriented programming language? As a programmer, as a Python programmer, we need to consider everything as an object. This remote is object, this laptop is object, this light is object, even my pet is my object. As a programmer, we need to consider the living thing and non-living thing as object. When we consider as a things as an object, we need to we will get a state and behavior. Later we will discuss about what is a state and behavior. But as of now, keep this in mind. As a programmer, as a Python programmer, we need to consider everything as object. When I consider this 10 value as an object, my Python interpreter store the value as an object. This cloud is my object. Hope I'm clear. This cloud is my object, and my 10 value is my object. That 20 value is my object. That 30 value is my object. My values are stored in the object form. Hope I'm clear. Then my Python interpreter assigns some address for my each object. If you see, my Python interpreter assigns some address for my 10 object 201. For a 20 object, the address is 202. The 30 object, the address is 203. Hope I'm clear. Next, based on the object size, my Python interpreter allocate some memory space in the RAM segment. Then the address will stored in the allocated space. Sorry for anything. Then the address will then the object address will stored in the allocated memory space. Then the A variable stored in the stack segment. Then the A variable will stored in the stack segment, and my Python interpreter allocate some address for my A variable and my list values. If you see, the list value address is 101 and the A variable address is 101. Based on the address, the A variable points to its list value. Hope I am clear. This is exactly how our values will stored in our RAM segment. Tuple data type. Tuple data type are similar to list, but there are difference. They have some difference. Let's write the code first. Using a tuple, we can able to store multiple values in a single variable. But in this case, while defining a tuple, we need to use a parenthesis instead of square bracket. We need to give a tuple value within a parenthesis. Now, for a tuple, we need to give a parenthesis. We need to give the value within a parenthesis. Now, I'm going to print this A variable, and using the type prebuild function, I'm going to print the type of A variable. Let's execute now. If you see, the type got printed as a tuple. While using a tuple, while defining a tuple, we need to use a parenthesis. We need to give the value within a parenthesis. When we use a parenthesis, then my Python interpreter consider this as a tuple value. Hope I'm clear. Next, we have, okay, as like a list, based on the tuple size, my Python interpreter allocate space based on the size, then the value will stored based on the position, and my Python interpreter allocate the index value for my tuple, and we can able to access a specific value using an index value like list. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, okay, anyways, before accessing a specific value in the list, First, what I want to is I want to add a new value in my existing tuple value. But in mutable and immutable topic, we seen that tuple is a immutable data type. Tuple is a immutable data type. That's mean we can't able to modify the existing tuple value. Let's try. Now what I want is I want to add this 90 value in my existing tuple value. Actually, it's not possible. Hope you understand the mutable and immutable data types. What I want is I want to using append function. I want to add 90 value in my existing tuple. If you see, I got an error, and the error is attribute error. Tuple doesn't have no attributes append. That means we can't able to add, we can't able to modify the existing tuple value. Hope I'm clear. When a tuple is an immutable data type, we can't add any new value, or we can't able to remove any specific value from the tuple value. Hope I'm clear. Next, we have now I want to print this 20 value, so that I'm going to use this index value as a 1. What is the index value of 20 is 1. Actually, what is the index value of 20 is 1. Yes, I'm going to use a index value of 1 to print the 20 value. First, I enter it into a tuple value, a variable tuple value, and I'm giving index value as a 1. Let's execute this code. And if you see, the 20 got printed, and the type is tuple. Hope I'm clear. Next, we have a set data type, and the tuple is a immutable data type. Next, just a minute. Still, we have in, and we can't remove any specific value from existing tuple value. Next, our tuple data type supports the heterogeneous data type. Also, it supports the homogeneous data type, and in tuple, the duplicate value supports. Tuple supports the duplicate value. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 40 as my duplicate value. 40 as my duplicate value. And within a print function, I'm just printing the a variable. Let's execute this code. And if you see, duplicate value also printed. Our tuple supports the duplicate value. Hope I'm clear. Next, we have a set data type. While defining a set data type, we need to give the value within a flower bracket. We need to give the value. We need to give the set value within a flower bracket. Let's write the code. I'm just changing this as a square bracket. Let's execute now. Sorry, flower bracket. And if you see, the type printed as a set. The type printed as a set. While giving a set value, we need to define the value within a flower bracket. We need to define the set value within a flower bracket. Then only our Python interpreter consider this is as a set data type value. Hope I'm clear in set data type. And one more thing, if you noticed in the output, the values are not in the order. But we give in the order form. We give in the order of 10, 20, 30, 40. But in the output, the values are not in the order, not in the given order. First, we printed the 40, 10, 20, 30, so that our set data type doesn't follow the order. So because of it, our set data type doesn't have an index value. If you see, even though if we give our value in some specific order, our set value will not stored in the specific order. Hope I am clear. So that our Python interpreter doesn't allocate any index value for my set value. Because of that, because that doesn't have an index value, we can't able to access some specific value based on the index. Previously in a list in tuple, we can able to access some specific value based on the index value. But in set, our Python interpreter did not assign any index value, so that we can't able to access any specific value. But we can able to remove some specific value. Now, this is my program, right? What I want is I want to remove this 20 value. There is a pre-built function called remove. Using this remove pre-built function, we can able to remove this 20 specific value. A dot remove 20. I'm giving the value. We all know that set doesn't have a index value, so that within a remove function, I am giving 20 as my value. I want to remove that 20 value. If you see, the 20 removed in my set. And one more thing, set is a mutable data type, so that we can able to modify the existing value. Here I modify the existing set value. Here I remove the 20 value from my existing set value. Hope I'm clear. Next we have, and yes, we already seen that. Okay, there is a function called add function. Using the add function, we can able to add some new value in my existing set value. In a list, we use a append function, but in a set, we have a add function. Using the add function, we can able to add some new value in my existing set value. Hope I am clear. A dot, I want to add 90 as my new value. Let's execute. If you see, 90 added in my existing set value. Hope I'm clear. First, I entered into a set value, then dot. First, I redirected to a variable, then dot. When I give the dot, my Python interpreter enter into my set value. Then using the add function, within a bracket, I give a 90 as my value. The 90 value added in my existing set. Hope I'm clear. Next, what we have. And as I said, using a remove function, we can able to remove some specific value from my existing list. And set doesn't support the duplicate values. In a list and a tuple, duplicate values are supported, but in a set, duplicate values are not support. Duplicate value will not support. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a duplicate value. When I give a duplicate value, just a minute, there is a lag. Yeah, no, it's fine. When I give a duplicate value within my set, my Python interpreter will not return me a error. Oh, what's the issue? I don't know. When I give a duplicate value, my Python interpreter will not give me a error. Rather than it will not print the duplicate value. Let's write the code first. I am removing this add function, and within my set value, I am giving my duplicate value as a 40. Let's execute. If you see, the 40 not printed, the duplicate value not printed. When I give a duplicate value within my set value, it will not, my Python interpreter will not return me an error. Rather than the duplicate value will not print in my output console. Hope I am clear. Just a minute, there is some lag. Next we have uh, next we have heterogeneous data type. Yes, set data type supports the heterogeneous data type. Our next topic is a dictionary data type. Using the dictionary data type, within a dictionary data type, we can able to give key and its values. For example, my name is my key and my value is Harish. We can able to give my key and value within a dictionary. And while defining a dictionary values, we need to write the dictionary values within a flower bracket. Let's write the code to understand what is a dictionary data type. First, within a flower bracket. Within a flower bracket, first I need to give my key. What is my key? Name is my key. So that within a double quotes, I am giving my key. And to assign a value to my key, we need to use a colon. And my value is a Harish, so that it is a string value. I am writing within a double quotes. I am giving Harish value within a double quotes. Then I need to assign a one more key and value. To assign a one more key value, we need to use a comma. Then within a double quotes, I am giving my key as a age, and I need to assign a value. I am using colon, and my age is 27. I am giving 27 as my value. Next, for this dictionary, I need to assign a variable, right? So that I am creating a variable called a, and within a print function, I am printing the a variable. And also I want to print that type using type pre-built function. Hope I'm clear. Let's execute this code. If you see, the dictionary got printed. While giving a dictionary value, just a minute. While giving a dictionary value, we can able to give key and a value within a dictionary. Hope I am clear. If you see, first this name is my key. This name is my key, and I wrote the key within a double quotes, then colon. I am assigning value, Harish value, to my key, and this is a string value, so that I wrote the string value within a double quotes. Then comma, to give the next key and value, we need to use a comma, and this is my key, age is my key, and colon, and next I give integer value, and within a print function I printed the a variable value, so that the dictionary value got printed, and next within a print function I printed the type of a variable, so that the dictionary got printed. Hope I am clear. Now let's understand how our dictionary stores in the backend, how our Python interpreter execute our dictionary program in the backend. This is how our dictionary values are well stored in our heap segment. In the RAM segment, in the heap segment, this is how our key and value will stored. Just a minute, there is a lag. I don't know why. Anyways, if you see the key values are stored in a specific column and the values are stored in a specific column, and based on the address, the A variable pointing to the dictionary. Hope I am clear. That's it on this basic data type, and that's it on data types. And next we have, and one more thing. Dictionary doesn't support the duplicate values. Dictionary doesn't support duplicate values like a set. Even when we give a duplicate value, when we give a key, a duplicate key and a value, my Python interpreter will not return me an error. Rather than it will not print the duplicate value. Let's try. I'm giving age as my duplicate value. Let's execute now. If you see, the name and age got printed, but the duplicate value did not printed. Hope I am clear. That's it on a data type. Our next topic is arithmetic operator. In arithmetic operator, we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, and modulus. Hope you will have some idea about what is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. You will have, you are studying, you are using this from your second grade or third grade, from third grade. Anyways, let's write the code. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an addition operation. To do an addition operation, we need a two value. So that first I am assigning two values to two variables, A and B variables. Let's write the code. We needed two values, so that I am creating a two variables and I am assigning two values to my two variables. And 20. Now C equal to A plus B, and within a print function I am printing the C. Let's execute this code. Okay, before executing this code, let's trace this code. What I did here is first we all know that it will execute, my Python interpreter will execute line by line, and first it will execute the right side of assignment operator. That 10 will stored in the heap segment, and the A variable will stored in the stack segment, and the 20 value will stored in the heap segment, and the B variable will stored in the stack segment. While executing the third line, first it will execute the right side of my assignment operator. In the right side of assignment operator, we did the addition operation, and operation is A plus B. What is the current value of A? 10. And what is the current value of B? 20. 10 plus 20, 30. Then the 30 value will reassign to my C variable. The 30 value will assign to my C variable, and within a print function I printed the C. What is the current value of a C? 30. So that the 30 will print in my output console. Hope I clear. Let's execute this code. And if you see, the 30 got printed, Next, I want to do some subtraction. Just I'm changing the sign as a minus. Let's execute. 10 minus 20 minus 10. If you see, minus 10 got printed. Next, I'm doing multiplication operation. If you see, 10 into 20, 200. Next, I'm division operation. Let's execute. If you see, 0.5 got printed. Now, I'm changing this value. I'm changing this A value and B value. Let's execute now. If you see, we got output as a 4.5. Now, what I want is, I want to print the rounded value. If you see, we got a point value 4.5. When we divide 9 by 2, we will get a result as a 4.5. Yes, that's the result is right. But I am expecting output as a rounded value. What is a rounded value? If you see, it is a pointed value. I am expecting rounded value as a 4. To get a rounded value, I am going to use a floor division. Using the floor division, it will return me a rounded value, rounded division value. Hope I am clear. Let's execute this. And if you see, 4 got printed. Now, this floor division returns me a rounded value. Next, we have a modulus operator. Using this modulus operator, we can able to print the remainder value for a specific value. For example, if we take a 4, the remainder value of 4 is a 0. But if we take a 5, the remainder value of 5 is a 1. So that this modulus operator returns me a 0 or 1. Let's try the code. For this A value, for this 9 value, the remainder value will be 1. Let's execute this program. If you see, the 1 got printed. Now I'm going to give 6 as my A value. The remainder value of the 6 is 0, so that the 0 will print. Now I'm going to give level as my A variable value. The remainder value of 11 is 1. The 1 got printed. Hope I'm clear. That's it on arithmetic operator. Next we have a if statement. First, before writing the program, before understanding what is a if statement, how to write a program using if statement, first let's understand the flowchart of if statement. Wait, there is a lag. Just a minute. Let's understand the flowchart of if statement. While executing our program, first it will check the expression. First, it will check the condition. If the condition is true, then it will print, then it will execute the statement of if condition. It will execute the statement of if condition. If the condition is false, if the condition is false, if the expression is false, then the program will complete its execution. When we start our execution, when we start our program execution, first it will check the condition. First it will check the given condition. If the condition is true, then it will execute the statement. Then it will execute the body of if statement. Then it will execute the body of if statement. If the condition is true, then it will execute this specific statement. If the condition, if the expression is false, then my Python interpreter complete its execution. When the condition is true, my Python interpreter complete its further execution. Hope I'm clear. Let's execute this code. Once we wrote the code, you will get 100% clarity. I want to remove this console. First, I want to write a program. I want to write a program to check the eligibility of voting. To check the eligibility of voting, and what is the eligibility age? 18. So that I'm going to give the condition as a 18. If the user given value is greater than the condition, then I need to print you are eligible for voting. Let's write the code to understand what is the if statement. And I am assigning 60 as my value. Then if first we need to use a if keyword. Then next we need to give the condition. And what will be my condition? If the a variable values are greater than or equal to 18, then I need to print a message that eligible for voting. If the age value is lesser than 18, then I need to complete the execution of program. Hope I am clear. Age greater than or equal to 18. Then within a if condition, I am printing a message that eligible for voting. Before executing, let's test this code. First, or I created a variable called age and I assign 60 as my value for my age variable. Then it will execute the if condition. First line execute. After first line execution, then it will, my Python interpreter will execute the second line of my program. In the second line, I wrote the if condition. Within if condition, I give my condition, and my condition is if age is greater than or equal to 18, then I need to print this message eligible for voting. If the condition is true, then the body of if condition, this print function is the body of my if condition. If the condition is true, then my body of if condition will execute. If the condition is false, my program complete its execution. My Python interpreter complete the program execution. Hope I am clear. Let's execute. If you see, now my condition is false. The age variable value is 16. So that the condition is false. So that this print function will not execute. When my condition is false, my program will complete its execution. Let's execute this code. If you see, nothing got printed. When the condition is true, first my Python interpreter checks the condition. If the condition is false, my Python interpreter complete the execution of my program. If the condition is true, then it will execute the body of my if condition. In the body of if condition, we have a print function. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my age variable value as a 27. Now, what is the current value of age? 27. So that the condition is true. 27 greater than or equal to 18. Yes, the condition is true. Once the condition is true, my Python interpreter execute the body of my if condition. Let's execute this code. If you see, the message got printed, eligible for voting got printed. Hope I am clear. Now we'll have some idea about what is if condition. Now what I want is, when the condition is false, I want to print that you are not eligible for voting. If the condition is true, I want to print eligible for voting. If the condition is false, I want to print you are not eligible for voting message. To achieve this, we have a if else condition, if else statement. In this same program, I'm going to add else block. Else, and within else block, I want to print not eligible. Let's test this code before executing. My age variable value is 27. So that then it will check the condition. Yes, my condition is true. When my condition is true, my Python interpreter execute the body of if condition. This print function or within the body of my if condition, so that this print function will execute. Within a print function, I printed the message so that the message will print eligible for voting. Once the body of if condition executed, then my Python interpreter complete its execution without executing the else statement. My Python interpreter complete its execution. If my condition is false, my Python interpreter will not execute the body of my if condition. It will, when the condition is false, it will directly redirect to my else block. Within else block, I printed a message that not eligible, so that this message will print in my output console. When my condition is false, without executing the body of condition, my Python interpreter directly redirect to my else block. Within else block, I printed a message. Let's execute this code. And what is my current value of age? 27. So that now Now my condition is true, so that when my condition is true, my Python interpreter will execute this print function and complete its execution without executing my else block. Hope I am clear. If you see, eligible for voting got printed, eligible for voting got printed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 12 as my age variable value. Let's execute now. If you see, now what is my current age variable value? 12. Then it will, my Python interpreter will check the condition, and my condition is false. My condition is false. Once the condition is false, without executing the body of if condition, my Python interpreter directly redirects to my else function, and within a else block, I print a message that not eligible. If you see not eligible, message got printed. Hope I'm clear. Now we'll have some idea about what is a if and if else statement. There are two more things. One is a nested if else, and we have a if else statement. Hope practiced to write the code. That's it on a if condition. Next we have a loops. Next we have a, okay, still we have a if else statement. Let's understand the flowchart of a if else statement. First, when I execute my Python program will execute its execution. My Python interpreter start its execution, then it will check the condition. If the condition is false, sorry, if the condition is true, then it will execute the true statement. If my condition is false, then it will execute my false statement. Once the false statement or a true statement is executed, then my Python program completed its execution. When my condition is true, it will execute the true statement. Once the true statement is executed, then my Python program, my Python interpreter complete its execution without executing the false statement. If my condition is false, then it will execute the false statement without executing the true statement. Once the false statement is complete its execution, then my Python interpreter complete the program execution. Hope I'm clear. That's it on if and if statement. Next we have a for loop. In loops we have a for loop and while loop. Let's understand what is for loop. Before writing the code, let's understand the flow chart of a for loop. When I start my execution, when I execute my program, first my Python interpreter starts my execution. Then it will check the condition. If the condition is false, then it will execute the statement. Again, it will check the condition. If the condition is true, it will execute the statement. Again, it will check the condition. If the condition is true, it will execute the statement. Again, it will check the condition. If the condition is true, it will execute the statement. Again, it will check the condition. If the condition is false, then my Python interpreter complete its execution, program execution. If you see, in a for loop we can give a list, set, tuple and dictionary. In a for loop we can give, okay, first let's understand the syntax of a for loop. Later we will discuss the flowchart of for loop. For within a for loop we need to give a variable, and in iterable, what is iterable? List, set, tuple are the iterables. List, set, tuple, dictionary, string are the iterable. List, what are the iterables? List, set, tuple, dictionary and string. These four data types are the iterable data types. Hope I am clear. First we need to give a, within a for loop we need to give a variable, our variable. In iterable we need to give a iterable like list as a value, set as a value, tuple as a value, dictionary as a value, string as a value. Now let's understand the flow chart of a for loop. Within a for loop, I give a list as my iterable. First, there is a one person called iterator. Within a for loop, there is a one person called iterator. First, when I start my execution, first it will check the condition, and my condition is lost item. If you see, now my iterator in the first value, my iterator pointing the first list value, and if you see, this is not my lost item, so that the condition is true. When the condition is true, my Python interpreter execute the statement. My Python interpreter execute the for loop statement. Once the statement executed, again it will check the condition. And if you see, the iterator moves to next value. And do you think it is a lost value? No, the condition is true, so that again it will, second time it will execute the statement. Once the statement executed, again it will check the condition, and my condition is lost item. No, 3 is not my lost item, so that when the condition is true, when the for loop condition is true, it will execute the statement. Once the statement executed, again it will check my condition, and while checking the condition, my iterator moves to next value. And if you see, the 4 is not a lost item, so that again for a fourth time my statement will execute. For fourth time. Once the statement executed, again it will check the condition. And if you see, yes, it is a lost item, so that Once the last item reached within our iterable data types, then my Python interpreter completed its execution. Hope I am clear. Now, what I did here is, if you see, first I created a variable called count and I assign a list value. I assign a list value to my count variable, and here I used a for loop. And within a for loop, I named the variable as I. We all know that we already seen the syntax of for loop. Within a for loop, we need to give a variable, and I named the variable as I and in. Next, we need to give a iterable, and within iterable, I give count iterable value. List is a iterable value, so that I give iterable as a my list value. And within a print function, I printed the I value. Let's test this code first. When I execute my program, my iterator point to its first value. My iterator points the first value of my list, and my iterator fetch the first value. My iterator fetch the pointing value and assign to my I variable. Within a for loop, we have a I variable. So that what is the current value of my I variable? I variable value is 1. Why? Because my iterator currently pointing to the 1 value. Hope I am clear. And within a print function, I printed the I, so that in my output console, the 1 got printed. Once the print function executed, once the for loop statement executed, again it will check the condition, again it will check the iterable, when my Python interpreter check the iterable, my iterator moves to second value within the list, and now my iterator pointing to the second value, now my iterator pointing to the 2 value, and my iterator fetch the 2 value and assign to my I variable, and the 2 value is not the last item, so that it will execute the statement of for loop. Within a statement, I printed the I, so that what is the current value of I? 2, so that the 2 got printed. In the next loop, once the print function complete its execution, again it will check the count iterable. While checking the count iterable, my iterator moves to next value. And now my iterator pointing to the 3 value, so that my iterator fetch the 3 value and assign to my I variable, and the condition is true. The 3 value is not the last item, so that here within a print function, I printed the I, so that the 3 got printed. Once the print function complete its execution, again it will check the iterable. And what is my iterable? Count variable. And within a count variable, I give a list value, and my iterator moves to fourth value. My iterator moves from 3 to 4 value, and my iterator pointing to 4 value, iterator fetch the 4 value and assign to my I variable. What is the current value of I variable? 4. And within a print function, I printed the I, so that the 4 got printed. Once the print function completes its execution, again it will check the for loop iterable. In the iterable, I give counter, and it is not the last item. So that my iterator fetch the 5 value and assign to my I variable. Within a print function, I printed the I, so that the 5 got printed. In the next loop, once the print function completes its execution, once the statement of for loop completes its execution, again it will check the iterable. In the iterable, I give count as my list value, and within my iterable value, next my iterator moves to next value, and this is the last item. So that my condition is false. And my Python interpreter complete the program execution. Hope now you have some idea. Actually, this iterator, there is a iter function and next function. If you have a 100% clarity on iter function and the next function, then you will have a 100% clarity on what is iterator and iterable. And within a 2 hours, I can't cover the iter function and next function and what is iterable. If you can't understand, please watch some other videos on what is iter function and what is the next function. Then you watch this video. Hope I'm clear. Now let's write this code. Wait, there is a lot of let's write the code. First, I need to give a iterable value, and I am using a list as my iterable value. Next, within a for loop, I need a variable. I am naming variable as a I and in. I am giving input as a iterable value. A is my iterable value is right, so that I'm giving a variable value. And within a print function, I want to print the value of I. Let's execute. If you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 got printed. Hope I am clear. List is a iterable value, and the syntax of a for loop is first we need to give a variable, and we need to give a iterable value as a input value based on the size, based on the number of iterator. My Python interpreter loop for multiple times. Hope I am clear. Next, what I want is I want to print Harish for 5 times. So that what I'm going to do is I'm going to give within a print function, I'm going to give Harish as my message. If you see, the Harish got printed for 5 times. Now I want to print Harish for 6 times. So that what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size of my list. I'm going to increase the size of I treble. Based on the size of I treble, my loop will happen. Based on the I treble size, my loop will happen for a number of time. I want to print Harish for 6 times so that I'm my size of a list is my size of I treble is 6, so that 6 times the loop will continue. 6 times the loop will continue. First, in the first time, yes, my iterator points to the first list value. Yes, the condition is true, so that the statement, the body of a for loop will execute. In the body of for loop, we have a print function, so that the first time the Harish got printed. Once the print function executed, then again it will check the I treble. Yeah, now my iterator pointing to the second value. Yes, now my I treble is true. I treble condition is true. Then it will execute the statement of for loop. In the statement of for loop, within a print function, I printed the Harish, so that the second time the Harish will print. Then again, once the print function executed, again it will check the for loop I treble condition. Hope I'm clear. Now we'll have some idea about what is a for loop. Oh, still we have a range function. And just imagine I have a scenario to print a value from 1 to 100. I want to print a value from 1 to 100. At the scenario, I can't give a list as a 1 to 100, right? To tackle this, to overcome this, we have a range function. Instead of I treble, we can use a range function. Using this range function, we can able to give the start value and stop value. If you can't understand, first understand what is iterator, iterable, iter function and next function, then only you can able to understand this for loop. And one more thing, I published a Python complete course in Udemy. If you are interested, you can enroll, and you will find the link in description. And in this in the Python courses for 14 hours. In this 14 hours, I deep dive into each and every topic, and the course completely designed for non-IT students. And not only that, the course is completely designed from interview perspective. Okay, let's get into the topic. Where I stop? Okay. Now, instead of giving I treble, I'm going to use a range function. I want to print a value from 1 to 6, so that I'm giving a 6 as my value. And this is the stop value. Within a range function, we can able to give a stop value. When we give a stop value, based on the stop value, the loop will happen. If you see, I give 6 as my stop value, so that the loop will happen for 6 times. Let's execute this program. If you see, the value got printed from 0 to 5. Actually, the loop happened for 6 times. Actually, the loop happened for 6 times, but the value starts from 0. The value starts from 0 and stops at 5. Now, using the range function, we can able to give a start value. Within a range function, we can able to give start value and stop value. Now, what I'm doing is I want to print a value from 1 to 6. So that within a start value, I'm going to give a 1 as my start value, and within a stop value, I'm going to give 6 as my stop value. 1, comma. Let's execute now. If you see, I give start value as a 1, so that the value starts from 1, and at the end, I give a stop value as a 6, but the value stopped as a 5. Thus, the value printed from 1 to 5. Why? Why? Because, just a minute. Why? Because the stop values are exclusive and the start values are inclusive. What does mean exclusive and inclusive? The inclusive value, if we give a 1, the value starts printing from 1. The value starts printing from 1. And if we give a stop value as a 6, the stop values as exclusive, so that it will. Just a minute, I need to check. There are so many lags. Yeah, now it's. Oh, yeah, now it's fine. The stop value is exclusive, so that if we want to print value from 1 to 6, then we need to give stop value as a 7. Then only it will print value from 1 to 6. Hope I am clear. Now I want to print value from 1 to 6, so that I need to give the stop value as a 7. I'm giving stop value as a 7. Let's execute. If you see, the value printed from 1 to 6. Hope I am clear. The stop value is exclusive and start values are inclusive. And the inclusive means it will include. The value will include. The start value will include, but the stop value will not include. Hope I am clear. If we want to print a value from 6, we need to give the next value. If next, what I want is I want to print a value from 1 to 15. What I need to give? I need to give the start value as a 1, and I need to print till 15, so that I need to give stop value as a 16. 16. Let's execute. And if you see the value printed till 16. Hope I am clear. Next, within a range function, we also give step function. We can give step value. When we give a step value, for example, if I give a step value as a 2, then it will print 1, 3, 5, 7. It will print the step by step. Now I'm going to give a 2 as my step value. Now it will print from 1, then 2 steps, next 2 step value 3, then next 2 step value 5. Let's execute now. If you see, the value got printed 1, 2 steps 3, 2 steps 5, 2 steps 7, 2 steps 9, 2 steps 11, 2 steps 13, 2 steps 15. Now I'm going to change this step value as a 3. And if you see, we got an output and 1, 3 steps 4, 3 steps 7, 3 steps 10, 3 steps 13, and 3 steps we will get to 16, but our stop value is exclusive, so that it will check till 15 value. Hope I am clear. Next we have a while loop. Before writing the code using a while loop, first let's understand the flow chart of while loop. First, when I start my execution, first it will check the expression. If the expression or condition, first it will check the condition. If the condition is true, then it will execute the body of loop. Once the body of loop executed, again it will check the condition. Again it will check the condition. Second time, if the condition is true, then the second time the body of loop will execute. Once the body of loop executed, third time it will check the condition. Third time it will check the condition. If the condition is true, third time it will execute the body of loop. Third time it will execute the body of loop. Once the body of loop executed, fourth time it will check the condition. If the condition is false, then my Python interpreter complete the execution of my program. Hope I am clear. If the condition is true, then it will execute the body of loop. Once the body of loop executed, again it will check the condition. If the condition is true, then second time it will execute the body of loop. Again, once the body of loop executed, again it will check the condition. When the condition is false, then only my Python interpreter complete the program execution. Hope I am clear. Let's write the code. Now, the syntax of a while loop is while we need to give a condition. Okay, let's write the code. While we need to give the condition, and within a condition we need to give our statement here. If the condition is true, then it will execute the statement. If the condition is false, then my Python interpreter complete the execution of my program. Hope I'm clear. Let's write the code. While, and my condition is I want to print a number from 1 to 5, so that I need a one variable called count, and I am assigning initial value as a 1. Then I'm giving condition as a count greater than or equal to, lesser than or equal to 5. If condition is 5. Okay, yes. Within a condition, I want to print the count value. Let's execute this code. And if you see, the owners are printing still now. Why? Because, first I'm going to manually terminate my execution. Why? Because we didn't increase the count variable value within a condition, within a while loop condition. What is the current value of 1? In the first loop, my current value of count is of 1. So that first it will check the condition. Then if the condition is true, the count value is 1, and the condition is true. Once the condition is true, then it will execute the body of my while condition. It will execute the statement of my while condition. And within a print function, I printed the count value. And what's the current value of count value? 1. So that the 1 got printed. First time the 1 got printed. In the next loop, once the statement complete its execution, again it will check the condition. Once the print function executed, second time it will check the condition. It will check the while loop condition. And what is the current value of count? 1. And lesser than equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. Then again it will execute the print function. Then the second time the 1 will print. Once the print function executed, again it will check the condition. And what is the current value of count? Current value of count is 1. Yes, the condition is true, so that it will execute the print function. Like this, it will execute for infinite time. It will execute the loop for infinite time. Hope I am clear. Now, to solve this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the count value. Once I wrote the code, I will press the code. Don't worry if you can't understand. Within a while condition, I am increasing the count. before executing this code, let's test this code. What is the count initial value? Count initial value is 1. Then it will execute the while condition. Within a while condition, what is the current value of a count? 1. 1 lesser than or equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. Once the condition is true, then it will execute the body of while condition. Within a body of a while condition, in the first line, I printed the count value. What is the current value of count? The 1 will print in my output console. In the next line, we all know that first right side of assignment operator will execute. What is the current value of count? The current value of count is 1. 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1, 2. Then I reassign the 2 value to my count variable. 1 plus 1, 2. I reassign the 2 value. I reassign the result value to my count variable. I reassign the 2 value to my count variable. Now my current count value is 2. Current count value is just a minute. My current count value is 2. Once this both line executed, once this 2 line executed, then again my Python interpreter checks the condition. What is the current value of count? 2. 2 lesser than or equal to 5. Yes, now the condition is true. Once the condition is true, it will execute the body of while condition, and within a print function, I printed the count. What is the current value of count? 2. So that the 2 will print in the next line. In the next line, first it will my Python interpreter execute the right side of my assignment operator. What is the current value of count? 2. 2 plus 1, 3. So that the 3 result value will reassign to my count variable. The 3 result value reassign to my count variable. And what is the current value of count variable? 3. Hope I am clear. Now, then it will, once this 2 line executed, once this 2 line completes its execution, again it will check the count. Again it will check the while condition. And what's the current value of count? 3. 3 lesser than or equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. And then the print function will execute. When the print function executes, within the print function, I printed the count value so that the 3 will print in the next line. First, the right side of assignment operator will execute. What's the current value of count? 3. 3 plus 1, 4. And I assign the result 4 value to my count variable. What is the current count variable value? 4. Now, then once this 2 line executed, again it will check the condition. And my condition is count value. What is the current count value? 4. 4 lesser than or equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. Then it will execute the print function. Then here, what is the current value of count? 4. 4 plus 1, 5. Then I reassign the 5 value to my count variable. Reassign the 5 value to my count variable. And what is the current value of count? 5. Once this 2 line executed, complete its execution, again it will check the while condition. What is the current value of count? 5. Find 5 lesser than or equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. Then it will execute the print function. Then again it will increase the value. What is the current value of count? 5. 5 plus 1, 6. I am reassigning the 6 value to my count variable. What is the current value of count? 6. Once this 2 line complete its execution, once the statement of while condition executed, again it will check the condition. Again it will check the condition. And what is the current value of count? 6. 6 lesser than or equal to 5. Now the condition is false. Now the condition is false. When my condition is false, my Python interpreter complete the program execution. Hope I am clear. Now let's execute this program. Sorry. Let's execute. And if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 got printed. Hope I am clear. Now we'll have some idea about what is a while loop. That's it on while loop. Our next topic is functions. Before we get into the topic functions, as I said earlier, as a programmer, we need to consider the living thing and non-living thing as an object. And when I consider the car as my object, I will get 2 parts. One is a state and second one is a behavior. In the state, we have the brand of the car, the price of the car, the mileage of the car. If you see, the states are the data. The states are the data. Brand of the car, Tesla is my data, right? The price of the car, $20,000 is my data, and mileage of the car, 100 kilometers per charge is my data. And this data are known as variables, and these data are the states. Then in behavior, starting the car, this behavior or the actions. Starting the car is an action, right? It is the behavior. Accelerating the car is my action, right? So that it is considered as a behavior. And braking the car to stop the car is an action, and this action is considered as a behavior. And these states are considered as a variable, and these behaviors are considered as a functions. We already wrote a few programs using these variables. And if you see, these variables are datas. These variables are datas. Tesla is my data, Tesla is my variable value, and brand is my. Let's write the code to understand what is variable. Brand, next we have a price, $20,000. If you see, these are my data. Tesla is my data, $20,000 is my data, right? These data are considered as a state, and the states are considered as a variable. In technical, the states are considered as a variable. Now we'll have some idea about what is a variable and why we are saying this as a data, variables or a data. Now next, understand what is behavior and what is under functions. Okay, I'm going to remove this program. Now what I want is, while considering calculator as my object, I will get two part. One is a state part and second one is a behavior. In the behavior, we will do some addition operation or a subtraction operation using the calculator, right? That's all a behavior, and behavior are considered as a function. So that first what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function called add. While creating a function, we need to use a parenthesis and a colon. And to define this is my function, we need to use a keyword called diff. To define a function, we need to use a keyword called a diff. When we use a diff, then my Python interpreter consider this add as my function. While writing the function, we need to use the diff keyword, and this is my function name. And we need to use a parenthesis and colon. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print a message that within a function. Using a print function, I just want to print a message that within function. Let's execute this code. And if you see, nothing got printed. Why? Because for function, we need to call the function. Without calling the function, the function will not execute. When we call the function, we need to call the function. Then only my Python interpreter execute this add function. Without calling the function will not execute. So that now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this function. Using the name of function. And what's the name of my function is add. So that using the add name, I'm going to call this function. We need to call the function, then only my Python interpreter execute the function. Let's trace this code first. We all know that without calling the function, our Python interpreter execute our program line by line. In the first line of my program, I wrote the function. And the thing is, without calling the function, the function will not execute. Without calling the function will not execute, so that it will execute the next line of function. Sorry for the interruption. Then it will execute the next line of function. In the next line of function, here I called the add function. When my Python interpreter execute this caller function, this is known as caller function. Why? Because we are calling this add function, so that this is known as caller function. While executing this caller function, my Python interpreter redirect to my add function. Then within my add function, I printed a message using a print function. I printed a message that within a function, then this print function will execute. Let's execute this code. Sorry. If you see, the message got printed within function. Let's test once again. Even though we wrote a function in the first line of our program, the function will not execute without calling the function. Hope I am clear. So that this function will not execute. Then the next line of my function is here. I created the caller function. Within the caller function, I called this add function. Once the caller function executed, my Python interpreter redirect to my add function. And execute this add function. And within my add function, I printed a message using a print function that within a function, so that the within function message got printed. Hope I am clear. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to create a two variable within this add function. Oh, sorry for that. Sorry. I created a two variable 20 and c equal to a plus b. Next, within a print function, I am printing the c. Let's execute this. Oh, if you see, the 30 got printed. Let's test this code from RAM perspective. Will we have a? Just a minute, I need to check. Let's test this code. We all know that without calling the function will not execute, so that the next line of my function will execute. In the next line of my function, I created a caller function. Here, I called the add function. Once my Python interpreter execute this caller function, my Python interpreter redirect to my add function. Then, while executing this add function, my Python interpreter allocate some specific memory space in my stack segment. If you see, my Python interpreter allocate some specific space for my add function. Hope I am clear. Next, it will execute the next line. It will execute the body of my add function. In the first line, in the body of add function, in the first line, I created a variable called a and I assigned 10 as my value. The 10 value will stored in the heap segment. Actually, I give 5. Okay, just a minute. I need to change the value, input value. first we all know that while executing the first line within the add function, first it will execute the right side of my assignment operator so that the 5 will stored in the heap segment, and my Python interpreter assign some address for my 5 value. Then it will execute the left side. In the left side, the a variable will stored within a allocated space. While executing that function, my Python interpreter allocate some memory space for add segment, add function within the stack segment, right? So within the allocated space, within a specific allocated space, the a variable will store based on the address. The a variable points to its value. In the next line, the 6 value will stored in the heap segment, and the b variable will stored in the add function area. And in the next line, first it will execute the right side of my assignment operator a plus b level. I'm assigning the level value to my c variable, so that if you see the level value stored in the heap segment and the c variable stored in the stack segment in the allocated function space. And within a print function, I printed the c. What is the current value of c variable value? C variable value pointing to level, so that the level will print. Let's execute. If you see, the level got printed. Hope I am clear now. In this video, I'm going to discuss about strings. We all know that how to create a strings. Till now, we created a string within a double quotes or within a single quotes. And one more thing is, it is possible to create a multi-line string within a triple quotes. Now, I'm going to create a multi-line string within a triple quotes. Let's get into the compiler. Triple quotes. And within triple quotes, I want to print this is Harish from now let's print this name variable. Let's execute. And if you see, I got an output. We can able to give multi-line strings within a triple quotes. This is Harish from learn to code. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a simple string within a double quotes. I got an output. Now let's understand how the strings execution happen in the backend. And we all know that these strings are an iterable. What are the iterables? List, set, tuple, dictionary, and strings are iterable. Not only that, this string is the immutable data type. What are the immutable data types? String, int, float, and tuple. These are the immutable data types. Let's understand how the execution process happens in the backend. We all know that the string is an iterable, so that my Python interpreter allocate space based on the size of my string. What is the size of my string? 6. So that the space allocated within my heap segment based on the order, the value will store, the character are stored in the allocated space, and then my Python interpreter assigns some address, and the variable name variable will stored in the global namespace. Why? Why? Because the name variable is a global variable, so that the name variable will stored in the global namespace. Next, not only that, then my Python interpreter assign some index values. The index values start from zeros. We all know that iterable has index value. So thing is my iterable, so that my Python interpreter allocate some index value. Now it is possible to print a specific character from the string using the index. Let's write the code. Now I want to print the a character. The index value is 1, so that using the index value, I'm going to print the a character. If you see, the a got printed, the a printed. Next, what I have? Next, we have, and one more thing is, we all know that this is an immutable data type. String is an immutable data type, so that we can't able to modify any character within a string. Within a string, we can't able to modify any characters. Now I want to, let's try. Now I want to modify the s character into r. Let's try first. What is the index value? 4. The index value of s is 4. I'm reassigning r as my character. Let's execute. Within, we need to give within a double quotes or a single. And if you see, I got an exception that str object does not support item assignment. It does not support item assignment. Next we have, now I'm going to remove this same line. Let's understand how actually my string character store in my heap segment. First, h, we all know that it is an iterable, so that my Python interpreter store character by character. First it will check, and we all know that the string is the immutable data type. Because of immutable data type, first before storing the H character in the heap segment, first it will check whether the H character already exists in my heap segment. If there is a no H, then the H will store within a heap segment. Then it will check if the value already exists. If the character already exists, it will not store. But in our case, the character is not there, so that the character will store, R will store, I will store. And if you see H not stored, why? Because while storing the H, before storing the H, it will check in the heap segment. Yes, already the H available in my heap segment, so that the H will not store. It is iterable, so that based on the size, my Python interpreter allocates space, and every object my Python interpreter assigns some address. The address of H is 201, the address of A is 202, and the address are stored in the string, stored in the iterable. And the H not stored, right? So that what it will do means this 201 address will stored at the iterable space at the last position. This 201 address stored in the last position, and based on the address, this the iterable points to this character, this object. Now, can you tell me what are the common characters between this both name variable and company variable? A and R are the common between both characters, both strings. A and, if you see in the Harish, we have a A and R character, and in the learn, we have a A and R character. Now let's, I want to create a variable called company, and I want to assign learn as my string value. Let's trace this code. Let's trace this code. First, before storing the L, first it will check the L already exists in the heap segment. No. So that the L stored. Next, the E stored. And next we have a A. Then it will check before storing. Yes, the A variable, sorry, A character already exists in the heap segment. So that this company string point to this object, A object, and the 201 address will store within the company string. Next, or already exist in the heap segment, so that the 203 will store in the string allocated space. Next, N, first it will check before storing the N. N is not there, so that the N will store. Hope I'm clear. Do you want any proof? What I'm going to do is, I'm going to print the address of A variable. I'm going to print the address of A character in the name variable, and also I'm going to print the address of A variable in the company variable. Let's write the code. First, what is the index value of A variable, sorry, A character in the name variable? The index value of 0, 1, 0, 1. And what is the index value of A character in the company variable? 0, 1, 2. 1 and 2. Let's print the address of A variable from both variables. 1. Here, using the index value, I printed the address of name variable. Using the index value of 2, I printed the address of company variable. Let's execute this code. Hope I am clear. And if you see, the both address are same, 312, 312. Both address are same. That means the A character of name variable and the A character of company variable, both values or both letters, both characters are same. Both address are same. Hope I'm clear. Believe me, whatever I say, that's are true. Next, we have what we have. What I want is, yeah, we also have a negative index. Using this negative index, we can able to print the specific value. Now I want to print the two value. Not only that, and it is possible to give input as the alphanumeric value. This is alpha and this is numeric value. Alphanumeric value. We can give alphanumeric value within the strings. Let's write the code first. Let's execute. What I want is, I want to print the two value using a negative index value, right? -6. The index value of 2 is -6. Negative index value of 2 is -6. You see, the 2 got printed.